Go.
There you go.
Great. Hi. Welcome, everybody. We are interviewing an old friend of mine that we're just getting together now for the first time in the last, I think it's a couple of years. We have had the same conversation. So we're going to have a conversation today about our environment and about our food choices and what we can do as individuals to understand and move forward in a positive way that affects positively. So this is the 11 Days of Global Unity, and this is my friend Klaus. Klaus, can you give us a quick rundown on your background, please? Let the people know who you are.
Yeah, so I'm retired today, but I spent my career in the food business. I worked for the Walt Disney Company for 21 years as a director of food and beverage. And I had the good fortune to design the food systems for Disney's California Adventure. And I was also leading a team in Hong Kong to do the food system in Hong Kong, which was a very exciting professional challenge to dive into the Asian cuisines. So then I worked international after Disney for an international food wholesaler, and we were in 25 countries, in every single country in Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and then several countries in Asia, including India and China and Pakistan and Japan and Vietnam.
So you know food.
I do know something about food. I started as a chef many years ago, obviously, so I started in the kitchen, actually.
That's beautiful. I started in the kitchen too. That was one of my first jobs, right in, I think I was 13 when I started working in a kitchen. Yeah, that's exciting. And so Klaus, you had a change that came over you also, a transformation and understanding that began to grow inside of you. Can you share with us what that is? Because I remember talking about this with you a few years ago. It's going to be probably transformed and manifested in different ways now, but what is it that you come to realize about the way we're eating and and what we're doing? What's happening right now?
Yeah, I must say, as astonishing as it is, when I was working within this corporate shell, there were just a lot of things I had no knowledge of. When I retired, I took a course on Coursera, this online university system at the University of Illinois, Introduction to Sustainability. Now, I've been working with metadata all my life. And when I listened in to the course, and there were 70,000 people signed up at the time of this course, there were lots of conversations happening in the chat rooms that added to it. But when I listened in on what's happening with the carbon cycle, with water, with population growth, with mineral depletion around the globe, it was just overwhelmingly insane. You look at these numbers and so I was just shocked. I was totally shocked to it had a profound impact on me.
Right.
So from that point on, I've been digging deeper. So I took a course at Columbia University with Jeffrey Sachs, a famous professor environmentalist, on building a sustainable future. And at MIT with Steve Ryu. It's a course on social change management. So I've been engaged in the nonprofit sector. Working with NGOs. So today I'm co-lead for Citizen Climate Lobby and Business Climate Leaders, a sector leader for agriculture. And I'm a core team member for the Sierra Club, Food and Agriculture, and point of contact for Regeneration International, the 4 per 1,000 initiative. So things that are all focused on how do we change our food system,
right?
So that it can fulfill its function. And I think with that we can probably turn into what is that function.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So in your opinion, what is the main problem? What's the issue that we're facing? That is we've talked about this before. What's the main problem do you think that we're facing environmentally? What's the trend? What's the thing we have to change?
So what I want to share is a slide, and let me
great.
share that that's the screen for a moment, and I want to share this particular slide here.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so this is what Greta Thunberg is talking about, and this is what you hear from all the reports out there, is that here we are today in an ever-increasing cycle of carbon emissions output. So this is tons, gigatons per year. And you can see that in 2018 we broke another record. We actually went down a little bit in 2017, and in 2018 it went right back.
So these are our present emissions.
These are our current emissions, global emissions.
Total across the planet.
Across the planet, yes.
Okay.
So.
And what's a healthy level? None.
Oh, healthy. I couldn't. Well, let's take a look at this graph. What the IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change, is arguing is that we have to cut this in half by 2030.
Okay.
So, and then we have to go to net zero by 2050. So that means no more burning fossil fuels in this particular picture. So my argument, and the reason why, when we go to the next slide here, let me see when we go to this next slide here, the carbon budget. This is also something that Greta frequently talks about, and she is always worried that too many people don't fully understand what that is.
Okay.
The carbon budget means this is what scientists across the planet agree is the maximum amount of CO2 gases that can be in the atmosphere before we may lose control, before we will trigger impacts that are irreversible and catastrophic. So the average, from all the studies around the world, when you click on this source report here, it will give you over 20 different climate models running around the world on supercomputers, the best scientists in the world working on it, thousands of field workers feeding them with data. So they're saying we have roughly 193 billion tons left to put up there before this trigger is happening. Well, we are globally putting out 33.1 billion in 2018, and this is without the methane and other factors involved in it. So we have like 6 years based on this study here, which is the mean average.
Yeah. And so this is a major, this is a kind of a unified front by the scientists to collect data and show it, right? What we're just looking at. Where do people go to access that, Klaus? Is there somewhere they can go to access what you just showed us?
This is a study. I can send you a link.
You can send me a link. I'll tell you what. We'll put that link up if we can. Can we put it up publicly? Can we put it on International Children's Month for people to be able to click on?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll do that. That will be up by the time our interview airs. So people can go to internationalchildrensmonth.com, and right there on the homepage, we're going to put that source file, so you can look and see. So my main question on that was there's a united front by scientists to spread awareness about where we're at, what it looks like, and what the science is telling us, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So this is where Greta keeps saying, I want you guys to panic, right? And literally, when you look at this, the most unbelievable thing is that people still reject this reality here.
Right. I think they don't know what to do. I think that when a person is it's just like when a bully comes at you, right? At first, you're not sure what to do, right? Because it's just, you're in shock, flight or fight, I think. So, so what okay, we have 3 major fires on the planet of our lungs of our planet burning up right now. That's going to release more carbon into the air, from what I understand. Is that correct? Is anybody addressing what's going on right now with the present issues, heightened issues?
This is what we refer to as feedback systems.
Right.
So you have like the permafrost that is melting, and underneath the permafrost is gigatons of methane that would end the life on planet if that got released. So there are many of these factors that are just scary, and these fires burning in the forests is also already an impact that we see from climate change. So where I'm coming in now is generally understood, there is no way that the global economy can cut down emissions by 40-50% by 2030. It is incomprehensibly complex and difficult to see how that should happen. When you look at all the millions and millions of cars on the road, transportation, ships, airplanes, power stations.
Right. Yeah, sure. The way we live, period. Right? Like the system that we live by.
So then comes the point of, okay, so if we can't reduce our output, our emissions quickly, what else can we do?
Yes, exactly.
Here comes the option, possibility is that we are looking at photosynthesis as a method to sequester carbon back out of the atmosphere and into the soil.
Okay.
So I have a little video, rather than me trying to
Great.
work through here. I have a little video by Michael Pollan, who is of course a wonderful orator, and he explains this process of why photosynthesis at this point in time is such an important thing to focus on.
Awesome.
I'm coming over here, and we're going to.
Oh goodness.
Put this in screen.
Somebody's calling somebody. Hang on, Klaus. We got somebody trying to call in while we're in the middle of the video. Let's shut up.
Soil is a living.
Okay, should I go?
Yeah, hang on a second. Is it you or is it me?
It must be you.
I don't know how to get out of here now. People call me from all over the world talking about various different things about this. And it's usually a youth asking advice on what to do next. There we go. I should have shut down Facebook. That's okay. All right.
All right.
Carry on. Here we grow. Thank you, everyone.
So this is a soil solution.
Soil is a living miracle. One handful of soil, there are more organisms than there are humans on Earth. And we are only beginning to understand this vast network of beings right beneath our feet. We rely on healthy soil for 95% of what we eat. Yet, we take it for granted. Thousands of years of plowing, deforestation, and erosion have left our soils in dire shape. And we're accelerating the loss of this essential resource. But there's a lot more to the story. When soil is damaged, it releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And this has had serious consequences for the climate. Too much carbon in the atmosphere is causing the Earth to overheat. That excess carbon is also acidifying our oceans, threatening marine life. Meanwhile, there's not enough carbon where it once was, in the soil. In fact, many of the world's cultivated soils have lost more than 50% of their original carbon stocks. But there's actually some good news. We now know how to put carbon back in the soil where it belongs. Plants capture carbon dioxide in their leaves and pump the carbon down through their roots to feed hungry microorganisms living in the soil. Now, what had been atmospheric carbon, a problem, becomes soil carbon, a solution. Practices like keeping soil covered with plants, increasing crop diversity, composting, and carefully planned grazing are proven ways to put carbon back into the soil. Carbon-rich soils act like giant sponges, absorbing water during floods and providing it to plants in times of drought. And adding carbon to soil makes the land much more productive. The French government recognizes this and is calling on all countries to join them in increasing soil carbon by 0.4% each year. If every nation were to reach this ambitious but achievable goal, we could store 75% of global annual greenhouse gas emissions, enough to make a real difference to our planet's future well-being. Of course, we still need to reduce our fossil fuel emissions, but we don't need to develop expensive or risky technologies. Instead, what we need is a lot more photosynthesis. Climate change can be overwhelming, yet there is real hope. Healthy soil can be a major sink for carbon, but this fact hasn't been well known until now. Because now we know a soil solution is right beneath our feet.
Okay, so hopefully that explains what I was wanting to convey. So the mission that we have then is, on the one hand, reduce carbon output, carbon emissions, but on the other hand, sequester it. And,
Yes.
and the sequestration of carbon into soil can offset what we are short of in reducing the emissions so that we can stay within the carbon budget. Does that make sense? So if we
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So in 2015, I don't even think I introduced myself to people, but my name is Heidi Little, and I'm the co-founder and director of International Children's Month, and I'm the outreach coordinator and creative director with We the World, and you're watching the 11 Days of Global Unity. This is about environment, interdependence, children and youth, and really every single thing on our menu. We're going to air this on day 3. So, Klaus, we started the Seeds of Love Gardens for Hope program back in 2015, and that was supplying children across the planet with seed so that they could transform the hunger cycle. So it's become much more important, especially after seeing that video. We are bringing in and trying to get the phrase going of climate balance, and instead of climate crisis, because thoughts become things and words have power. So we're trying to invoke in people climate balance and as caretakers of this planet. So that's what we can do. We can plant gardens. We can plant more gardens and restore the soil quality and help with carbon emissions. So with the children and youth, we've got this new thing called Youth in Action. And I was looking actually for the 3rd program, and this makes perfect sense since we already had something very similar to it in 2015. So we have Youth in Action for the coral, Youth in Action for the forests, and now we're going to do Youth in Action for, what should we call it?
Food.
Soil restoration? Food?
No, real food, yeah. When I listen to Greta, she has had this amazing exposure, right, to adults and to so many people, and particularly to her own generation.
Yeah.
But how do you turn this into action? You know, where can you engage? So, I mean, I totally appreciate and support, and I'll be out there on the 20th of September to support kids. Campaigning and protesting.
Yep.
But how can we put some real pressure onto the system and force it to change, because
Right.
obviously it just doesn't really want to. And so
Right.
here's one idea that I would like to share, and let me bring this over. It would be the Real Meals campaign. Join us in the fight for real food. So this is one a non-profit organization.
Okay.
There are many others, but I just picked this one here because I like the way they have positioned it.
Okay.
But join us in the fight for real food. So there are 3 cafeteria operators in North America who control probably 90% of all school canteens and college canteens, the vast majority of the foods that they serve is from big foods, which is harmful industrial, agricultural, chemically intensive practices that eat carbon from the soil. And so this is now a call out for specific companies, in the idea really is here, what they want to achieve is get real food for every school, put a number on this, and then at the same time invest in racial injustice and equity, reduce carbon emissions, industrial animal products, and provide transparency and accountability. So if you go into your own canteen and you're a school caterer and talk to your parents, to explain why you want to change how you eat and what you eat, and why you want to pay attention to where your food is coming from, that would be an enormously important individual activity.
Yes, absolutely. Farm to table. Yes, we're talking about the farm to table model for the schools. Yeah, and for other places also, right? Like pretty much every public place could be having their own garden in conjunction with their feeding schedule. And then also those 3 companies, isn't that amazing how that works? Same thing with the drug companies, same thing with the public school system, and this kind of thing. We have kind of these like a small percentage of very powerful people that are controlling the way things are done. So let's do some research and find out who's behind the public school feeding programs. There's a call to action for people right now. I love to find the root and then pull it up, of the weed, of the thing that's really causing the problem. So we find the root, and then we can pull that up energetically, and then by our power of our words and our actions and our thoughts and our heart, we can help transform things. And actually, if just a few good souls hop on board, it doesn't take much to start to move things. It's pretty easy, actually, to start to move things into the realm of justice and change and transformation that makes sense and works for everybody. So Klaus years ago said, food is our way forward, and trust will be the currency in the future. Trust where you're getting your food from, right, Klaus? That's what I have notes here from. This is my little Klaus Post-it book from the last time we met.
Yeah, definitely trust is the issue. The food system has to decentralize, because once we say we don't want any more glyphosate in our food, and so which are pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, then this monocrop farming will come to an end, because without pesticides to subdue weeds and insects, these crops cannot prevail. The nature that simply doesn't work that way.
Yes.
So as the system decentralizes, then farmers will start growing foods that are indigenous to their particular, or not necessarily indigenous, but their function within their particular climate zone.
Yep.
The soil conditions, water availability, and also socioeconomics.
Right.
Who the cultural background of the population, purchasing power, and so on. So once that happens, you want to have local products and support your local farmers so that they can get going. And another campaign would be to call your local grocery store and ask for them to show local products on the shelf.
Right, that's a call to action right there. Also, call or show up with your managers at your grocery stores and ask, request, demand, right? Local produce.
Yeah.
Local produce, local products.
Local dairy, meat, you know.
Right, dairy.
Because,
those are big ones, right? Dairy and meat.
Yeah.
Do people know why? Do people know why dairy and meat are the big ones to be watching out for?
Well, both dairy and meat are produced in concentrated animal holding, feeding operations, which are horrible. They are. I mean, it's.
God, I know.
Disaster. If you see any pictures,
or if you drive by one, oh, good God!
It's for miles around you, so you know this is not good. You know and the way they are handling the manure, you know, spraying that into the environment. It's just like the city putting all its sewage out into the open rivers. You know, it's an incredibly damaging thing. So yeah, we have to reduce our meat consumption, but at the same time, we do need ruminants, we do need meat in animals as part of a healthy agricultural system. It has been that way for thousands of years.
Right.
But we want to make sure that these animals are treated humanely and that they come from a regenerative organic farm that is treating them in the way nature has designed it.
Exactly. Grass to roam around and take care of. And, you know, in a healthy system, like there's this place called Sunrise Ranch up in Colorado, just outside of Loveland, Colorado. And they have greenhouses and gardens, and they have sheep, and they have cattle, and they have all that stuff. But, you know, like when the gardens need to be tended or something needs to be taken care of, then, you know, the sheep and the cattle are moved to that area to help mow it down. And, you know, everything is like in balance. So, yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing. So for children and youth and the generalized grown up out there, you know, who just wants to start doing something to help transforming our, you know, environment of our homes into permaculture, right? Into growing things and thinking and considering about climate balance, what we can do to help restore climate balance, making those really easy, lovely conversations with our local people about carrying local goods, produce, and whatnot. And I think also just really supporting everyone out there who feels called to make something. You know, it doesn't have to be a quit and that's your full-time job and start your entrepreneurial, you know, path tomorrow, but you can start with a hobby. You know, if you're interested in growing just Beauty's Way beans or, you know, something specific that's calling you, some plant or some animal or, you know, something in the grand scheme of Mother Nature, if it's calling you, I want to support you in going out there and making it happen for yourself and for others. And Klaus, I think I'll reach out to these people from I love that. Thank you for sharing the Real Meals campaign. I'll reach out to those guys and talk to them about a partnership with International Children's Month and We the World and see how we can work together. And then I think it's strength in numbers too. The more of us who are, you know, really stepping up and standing for what needs to happen. This isn't something that we're going to be able to wait on anymore, my friends. This is something that we really are being asked and called out to act on now. And it doesn't need to be hard, difficult, ugly, or nasty. It can be positive, inspiring, balancing, growthful, restorative, kind, caring, loving, an opportunity to come together as a family, as a community, as a family, and as a country, and as a planet. And as more and more of us step into this role as caretaker, and expand our bubbles, just to include fresh air, fresh water, and clean soil into the future, we completely are capable of expanding ourselves at least that much. And as we each do that, we're going to be the change, we're going to make the difference, and the tables are going to turn. I think the key is just to get started, whether it's a pack of beans or planting some trees, or just really trying to turn something like where I live, Texas, where it's 100 degrees every single day and you have to work really hard to keep things from burning up. That's okay. It's playful. Let's consider it playful while we're doing the work, because the other way is kind of scary and sad. And I hopefully everybody gets the picture at this point that pretty much air, water, and soil needs us now. We kind of have, what do you think, Klaus, 6 years to really rein everything in and have already transformed everything. Is that about right? 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years, I think it's easy to get confused thinking that we have to do it in 6 years. We have to really start right now.
No, now. Yeah, it's past due, right? I mean, especially with the forest burning and the coral bleaching, we really need to make up for what the lungs of our planet aren't capable of doing right now, because of what our predecessors, what we have done historically, and what's going on. And I had a meeting, we had an interview yesterday for the children and youth with Jamie Margolin from This Is Zero Hour. And it's a great interview. It'll air on the Children and Youth Day. But she said that it really comes from colonialism and patriarchy and slavery of people back in the day, a long, long time ago. And it's time to break free and just really feel empowered. To feel empowered. And the more we care, the more we give, the more our field expands. We become more empowered. We become more fulfilled. And it doesn't come from just being quiet and taking care of ourselves and sitting this way. Yes, there's time for rest. But we really do grow exponentially when we put ourselves out there and we run into the darkness with our candle and we shine our light on others. We get to glow and grow bigger. So please feel empowered. Klaus, so what else do we have that we need to tell people about here? What else would you like to share?
Well, I don't want to branch out to too many different topics. I hope you feel inspired to look at what we eat in a different way, because in numbers, we have so much power to force that system to change, because the corporate world looks at sales, at profits, right? And if they realize that this product doesn't sell anymore, they will shift and change. The companies will react to it.
Right.
But we have to, the food system, the way it is conceived today, is an aberration. It's a horrible mess that has been created there over the last 40, 50 years. Right. And I have to say, I'm guilty of it. I was working on this. Yes, I didn't know, but I mean, it's horrible to think that I was building restaurants, high volume restaurants, sourcing food from places that are poisoning the land, and making people sick, because our food, the way it is today, has 80% of our healthcare bill today in America is caused by bad nutrition. Diabetes, obesity, heart disease, cancers are 80% due to bad nutrition. So not only are we going to make the planet healthy, we're going to make ourselves healthy by changing our food. So it is truly a lifeline. I mean, you have to think of it as a lifeline. When we are talking about electricity, energy, we know we should buy a car that gets better mileage. We know we should put LED light bulbs in. We should turn the thermostat down. We know all those things. We haven't had this conversation when it comes to food. And
Right.
we need to have that same conversation in food, where many little things will lead to big impacts. Yeah? And so that's sort of the message I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Now, we can talk about food, but it's too complicated and it's going to derail us now in this conversation. But what exactly constitutes health? How can you shift your diet into something really exciting? I mean, there's so many great recipes available. When you think about cultures like the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Lebanese, the Egyptians, the Greek, the Italians, they have been sitting on the same land for thousands of years and they didn't kill it.
Right, right,
We
right.
have been here for 200 and some years, and we're killing it. We're just destroying our habitat. So that has to change, and we need to learn from cultures that have figured it out and persisted on how to make that change.
Make love in the kitchen. Hashtag make love in the kitchen. I love that. I'm already inspired. I'm going to look into Egyptian and Greek and Italian recipes that I haven't done before. Chinese, Lebanese, exactly. And just to take, it always seems like the action heroes and spearheaders are the ones who really have personal experience with what happened and how it's come. And I just want to thank you for dedicating your life to the solutions and no harm. I can't say no harm, no foul, but it's it's one of those things. It's like Richard or Barry was the one who put Flipper on TV, and now he fights for the Dolphins, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, and my mother was on prescription opiates, and now I'm working with the opiate crisis. So it's like we get just the right training, so we can be just the right superheroes at just the right time. And I think that parents and families can have a lot of fun in the kitchen with their children, and in the garden. I mean, what a great place to have a good time, as opposed to Minecraft, which I know is super fun, but you can turn gardening into a Minecraft game if you really want to. And there are ways forward for this. So hashtag make love in the kitchen, and hashtag climate balance, because I think it's time for us to take back our power, don't you?
It is.
Yay. I love it.
And thank you for what you're doing.
Klaus, I love you. How can if people want to connect with you more in your work, where is that these days? Can people come and find you places, or what's happening? Do you have a website?
I do have a Facebook site. It's called Growing a Revolution.
Growing the Revolution?
Growing a Revolution.
A Revolution. Great.
So you can reach me through Facebook anytime. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome, Klaus. And if you wouldn't mind, during the 11 days, I'll send you an invite to, the different campaigns, and feel free to post some of your different things there. If you have a call to action, feel free to post a call to action. I'll integrate a call to action for International Children's Month, and I'm going to call families to grow Seeds of Love Gardens for Hope. Let's do it. We need everybody out there being the good farming caretakers that we came here to be. And I'll tell you, it's really a lovely feeling to have fresh food that and where it grew, how it was harvested, and how it's been cared for. And as Klaus said, I'll recap here, boycotting products that we do not need nor want, just don't buy them. And then buy from people that and companies you trust. Deal with people and companies you trust. And yes, I think you're right. The currency of the future is trust. And as soon as we can learn to trust ourselves also, we will learn to trust others even more. So so have fun in the kitchen. Have fun in the kitchen and in your gardens, and let's turn this ship into something that's balanced again.
Yeah, there is hope, there is things we can do. And this is tangible. Now, this is hands-on tangible. You can express your frustration and your desire for change by what you eat and where you buy your food from.
Yeah, exactly. And if you need a little more fodder for your bucket, check out the singing plants from down here in Italy. They have figured out a machine where they attach it to the plants and you can hear them sing. And there's a lot to be said for having a relationship with plants, and for having a relationship with our food, and for having a relationship with our planet, with Mother Nature. Yay. All right, Klaus.
Very good. I'll send you some links.
Very good. You've been watching. Klaus, how do you say your last name?
The English version is Mager.
Mager.
Mager, yeah.
I love it. Okay, Klaus Mager. Klaus Mager. And I'm your friend Heidi Little. And we'll have more coming for you. So these will all be backlogged on we.net. And please like and share so we can really get boots to the ground, hands in the dirt, hearts happy, knowing we're restoring the balance to our climate. And thanks again, Klaus. Many blessings for your work. Thank you for everything you're doing and for sharing your time with us today. I really appreciate you.
Thanks. Same here. Thank you so much, Heidi.
Yay!
Bye.
All right, everybody. Here we go. Take care. Here we grow.
Bye-bye.